Have you ever been lying in bed, lights off, phone away, and suddenly your brain hits you with a memory from 3 years ago? Something small, something normal, but your mind replays it like a crime scene. And you whisper to yourself, why did I say that? Why didn't I stay quiet? What if they still remember it? And then your chest feels tight. Your mind starts racing. You try to sleep, but your brain refuses to shut down. Now, here's the scary part. Most people think overthinking is a weakness. They say, stop thinking so much, just relax. You're making problems that don't exist. But what if I told you, psychology says overthinking is not always a problem. Sometimes it's actually a sign of a brain that works at a higher level, a brain designed for survival. So today, we're going to talk about the hidden truth behind overthinking and why this trait might actually be your secret power. Overthinking isn't just thinking too much, it's when your brain refuses to accept uncertainty. It wants answers, it wants control, it wants to predict the future before it happens. And that's why even a simple decision feels like a life or death situation. So if you've always felt like your mind never stops, stay till the end, because what you'll hear today might change the way you see yourself forever. One biological sentinel intelligence. Let's start with something most people don't know. Psychology suggests that overthinking may actually be an evolutionary survival trait. Thousands of years ago, humans didn't live in safe cities. There were no locked doors, no police, no hospitals. One mistake could mean death. So the people who survived the longest were not the strongest. They were the ones who thought ahead, the ones who noticed danger before anyone else. They could sense a predator hiding behind bushes, an enemy approaching from far away, a storm coming before it arrived, food running out before winter. They were basically the human alarm system, like a sentinel, always watching, always calculating. And even though we don't live in jungles anymore, your brain still carries that same ancient survival software. So when your mind jumps to worst-case scenarios, it doesn't automatically mean you're weak. It might simply mean your brain is doing what it was trained to do: predict danger before it happens. 2. Overthinkers are highly empathetic. Now here's another truth. Most overthinkers are not selfish people. In fact, they are some of the most emotionally aware people you will ever meet, because their mind constantly asks questions like, did I hurt them? Did I sound rude? Did they misunderstand me? Are they okay? You replay conversations, not because you enjoy torturing yourself, but because you deeply care about how others feel. Psychology connects this to something called predictive processing. Your brain tries to predict emotions. It tries to understand the emotional impact of your words, and that's why overthinkers often feel guilty, even when they did nothing wrong, because their heart is too sensitive. Their empathy is too strong. 3. The deep processing brain. Here's something else. Overthinkers don't just see the world, they process the world deeply. Psychologists often describe this as deep processing, meaning you don't just hear someone's words, you hear the tone behind it. You don't just see a smile. You notice if it's real or fake. You don't just read a text message, you analyze what's missing. A single okay from someone can make your brain create 10 different meanings, because you notice details that most people ignore, and that's why overthinkers get mentally exhausted so quickly. Even if you stayed home all day, you still feel tired, because your mind wasn't resting. It was silently working in the background, like a computer running 20 tabs at the same time. 4. Overthinking and creativity. Now let's talk about something fascinating. Overthinking has a strong connection with creativity. Studies have shown that anxiety and creativity often overlap. Because overthinkers have minds that generate scenarios constantly, their brain doesn't stop creating possibilities. They imagine what could happen tomorrow, what someone might say, how the future might change, what could go wrong, what could go right. Your mind is literally a story-making machine, and that's exactly why overthinkers are often talented in writing, strategy, art, business ideas, deep problem solving, innovation. But here's the issue. When that imagination has no purpose, it turns into mental torture. So remember this powerful line. Overthinking is imagination without a direction. But once you give that imagination a goal, it becomes your greatest weapon. 5. Hidden perfectionism. Now let's expose another hidden truth. Many overthinkers are perfectionists. They don't want average. They don't want good enough. They want the best possible outcome. That's why they ask themselves again and again, what if there's a better choice? What if I fail? What if I regret this later? What if people judge me? This is not laziness. This is a mind that refuses to settle. Yes, it creates stress, but it also creates excellence. Because overthinkers don't just do things, they want to do them right. They want to avoid mistakes. They want to be prepared. And that's why many overthinkers eventually become very successful once they learn how to control their mind instead of fighting it. So, if you're someone who stays awake at night, thinking about life, replaying conversations, imagining future scenarios, listen carefully. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not broken. Your brain is simply operating in a different mode, a deeper mode, a more intense mode. You carry deep empathy, strong foresight, sharp observation, powerful imagination, high emotional intelligence. You don't have a problem. You have a brain that sees more than others. But because you see more, you feel more. And that's why life sometimes feels heavy. So the next time someone tells you, you overthink too much, just smile because they don't understand what kind of brain you have. You are not running a normal operating system. You are running something more advanced. Now tell me something. Are you an overthinker too? And what's the thing you overthink about the most? Drop it in the comments because you'll realize you're not alone. And if you want more psychology videos like this, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.